Story this hour. Hong Kong media mogul Jimmy Lai has now been cleared of criminal intimidation against a reporter. The Apple Daily owner was earlier accused of intimidating a reporter during the 4th of June candlelit vigil 3 years ago. Lai had earlier been released on bail after being rounded up under the new national security law. The 72-year-old Lai is one of the most popular pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong. He owns the Apple Daily Express and Next magazine, publications that are known for their anti-Beijing commentary. He arrived in Hong Kong at the age of 12, fleeing communist oppression. He worked his way up from sweatshops and created a vast clothing empire. In 1989 Tiananmen Square crackdown, it turned him into a fierce government critic. The communist regime shut down his offices in mainland China, forcing Lai to sell his clothing empire. Soon after, he made his entry into the media industry. The media tycoon Jimmy was arrested from his office in a dramatic operation that was broadcast live on social media. Lai was sworn by reporters upon his release from the Mong Kok police station. Now, many of his supporters also gathered near the police station, waving the latest copy of Jimmy Lai's Apple Daily. The newspaper has seen a massive surge in readership, with the company bumping up publishing from 70,000 to 550,000. Lai's arrest also led to a buying frenzy at the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, which saw his media company's shares rise more than 1,000%. Jimmy Lai later told his staff to fight on, saying that they cannot let Hong Kong people down. Our correspondent, Richard Kimber, joins us live from Hong Kong for more on this story. Welcome. Thanks for being with us. Jimmy Lai has now been cleared of the criminal intimidation charges against the reporter. This is a big win for the media mogul, especially considering how critical he is of the government.
That's right. This case ultimately has nothing to do with politics. It's basically a spat between two local newspapers. But nowadays in Hong Kong, everything is being politicized, including cases like this. And because he's such a high-profile pro-democracy figure, of course, when he's in court, many pro-democracy campaigners are always hoping that the courts will also fall with them on their side. And that's why pro-democracy campaigners are celebrating this victory, small as it may be, because they see it as a meaningful example of, in their eyes, the courts still acting independently and not being pressured to prosecute somebody as high profile as this after the passing of the national security law. The magistrate in this case saying that actually the witness from the Oriental daily newspaper that was prosecuting Jimmy Lai in this case was unreliable, untrustworthy, and that's why she threw out the case. So that small victory being celebrated by many supporters of Jimmy Lai, who of course is still facing multiple charges on other counts, some relating to the national security law.
Absolutely, Richard. And on that, this is obviously not the only case that he's facing. He's been charged with collusion with foreign powers under the new national security law. What is the latest on that?
Yes, many of the other cases that are being compiled against Jimmy Lai are much more serious than this one, really, in terms of the charges that he's facing. He's facing charges in one case over inciting people to gather at this year's Tiananmen Square vigil, along with 13 other key opposition leaders. Also facing another case with another group of opposition figures over inciting people to gather in other protest events last year. And thirdly, as you mentioned, he was arrested last month under the national security law. No charges have been filed for that charge, but these are all much more serious than this newspaper spat, and these are all still ongoing. So Jimmy Lai is still very much the subject of media interest here, whether it's from his own newspaper or some of the rival newspapers who in this case have been seeking to try and undo him.
Richard, thank you very much for bringing us all the latest there.